it out. Francis, what is going on?
Riley, just another day in paradise, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here. Happy trying out this new streaming app. And yeah, just happy to be talking to you. Cool.
Okay, dope. Okay, Francis, let me publish this live real quick. Yes, we are right here. Let me make sure we are live. This is my first ever live podcast. So boom, save, and we should be now public going live. So dude, what's up? Hold on. I actually didn't hear what you said in the first part. where are you located right now?
I said the typical podcast intro,
Okay.
thanks for having me and things like that. But yeah, right now
thanks for having me. You got to be here. Okay, cool. Cause my
Yeah.
AirPods weren't connected in that first bit. Okay, boom. Now I'm connected. Dude. So yeah, we've been in touch on and on for a while, and then you just hit me up the other day. You're like, I just launched this newsletter, and I was like, oh, that's super dope. I've never heard of it. Nomad newsletter just for digital nomads or whatever. So what's the genesis of it? What's the background? And tell people, yeah, what are you working on?
Yeah, I mean, the genesis came from like, actually, I was incredibly burned out from, I guess, my typical freelance work for like a hard like 2 months, and was like, okay, well, I kind of want to step away from client work, but I still like writing, and I still like working with email marketing. And yeah, I just fell upon an article by Sam Parr about how he grew his newsletter, The Hustle, which has like 1 million followers, and how it just started off as like a passion project of things he really liked, which was just business and tech. And I was like, yeah, why don't I do that? I mean, I already have a like an email marketing email list, like a newsletter that I was sending to, once or twice a week, a few times a month, and was like, why don't I just focus on travel, digital nomadism, remote work, because that's what I love doing. And I love traveling. I love living abroad. I've been living in Europe for the last 6 years, as an expat, like legally. And so I knew that there was a lot of people out there who were interested in learning how to, maintain that life, create that life. And I said, why don't I just create like this email newsletter based around it? And yeah, this was all started up within like the last month, maybe, because yeah, I sent you this email like last Wednesday or something. And this newsletter went live like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I wrote like this landing page that you have right here within like the first in like 2 hours. It's like, I'm just gonna get it out. I just want to get started on it. Maybe I'll hire another copywriter to rewrite it. Yeah. But it was just like, I'm just gonna get out there. And yeah, so it's basically similar to the model of newsletters like The Hustle or The Click or The Morning Brew. But instead of focusing on business and tech, it's going to be centered around digital nomadism and location independent living. So the goal right now is to send out an email every Monday or Friday covering 4, 5, 6 topics based around digital nomadism. So there'd be destination reviews, podcast hosts, podcasts like yours, people like yours, people like you, and the course that you may have, showcasing job opportunities, new side hustles, maybe even trends that a lot of the very serial entrepreneur-minded nomads out there can capitalize on, and giving out just information that's really digestible and kind of like quick hitting twice a week. Right now it's twice a week. In the future, I'd like to do it, multiple times a week, and branch out to just having Tuesdays just be job opportunities, or Wednesdays just be destination reviews. But for me, this is something that I've already gotten a lot of really good feedback on from other podcast hosts who I've just asked for, feedback, like, what'd you think of this email? Or, what'd you think of these 5 topics? So yeah, I mean, it all started really, really fast, but for me, it's like the passion project, because, this is a lifestyle that I live, and I'm just really passionate about and really love, and want to help out anyone who's interested as well.
I pretty much have 3 to 4 people that still watch my videos. So yeah, appreciate you guys. No. No, it's maybe 2 to 300 loyal followers that still follow. But okay, dope. So you're on Instagram too?
I am Francis.Nyan.
Sick. Okay, we can share that. Okay, boom. Check it out. Boom. Chrome tab. There he is.
That's me. There he
So
is.
yeah, so you're in Europe. Like, tell me, yeah, where you at? You're in Mexico. Like, you're nomading around the world, and yeah. So you've been full time as a copywriter, freelance.
Yeah. So for the last 3.5 years, I've been working as a freelance copywriter, mostly in email copy and email marketing. And that's been like my full-time gig for the last 3.5, almost 4 years now. I need to update my Instagram. It still says I'm in Mexico. I'm in Greece right now. But I live in Budapest. My residency and kind of where I base myself is in Budapest. But, I've been I've been in Budapest for the last 5 years. And moved there originally to teach English. Fell in love with the city because it was just, cool, vibrant, super fun. And it was so close to other European countries, and it was cheap flights. So I was like, I think I'm just going to try to base myself here and deal with the bureaucracy. And now I'm kind of done with the bureaucracy. So I'm actually moving to Portugal next year with somebody who actually helps people move abroad, David McNeil from Expat Empire. Shout out, David, if you're going to listen to this. But just been in Budapest, and I kind of use it just to bounce around. I mean, right now where I'm this kind of kitchen / living room I'm sitting in, I'm in Paros, Greece. So just hanging out, really. I'm going to Santorini tomorrow, and just living well. And it's kind of where I started. I mean, my whole journey started with me teaching English, and then just kind of using that to find different avenues. I think that's pretty typical.
Yeah. As you know, that's how lots of expat / nomad journeys start. It's like, I just want to get some work abroad experience. Oh, what are the work abroad jobs that you can get? Oh, teaching English. So many jobs out there. And then so you're like, oh, fucking, you start doing it. Well, living in another country is super dope, but teaching English is not super dope. After a number of years, it gets boring, and it's like, it's like a 9 to 5. So you're like, oh, I can be a digital nomad and work online. Oh, sounds great. Rest is history. Yeah, as you know, guys. Okay, dope. So you're doing the Europe thing. And then so while I'm on your website, so this is obviously still your full-time thing here. And what do you do here?
Yeah, so my full-time gig, I would say, it's weird calling it full-time. It's more like just like something I do, but I am a freelance copywriter, email copywriter. So I typically work with e-commerce businesses, coaches, consultants, and essentially trying to squeeze as much money out of their email list. And so this is where kind of my day job, I guess, in the Nomad newsletter kind of come together. Basically I typically work with 6-7 figure e-commerce companies and some coaches, and I manage their content strategy, their ESP software, which is their convert kits, their active campaigns, their Klavios. I assist with the design, and I create the entire strategy behind their email marketing system. Everything from their lead magnets to their welcome sequence automation, their cart abandonment sequences, post purchases, all the fancy stuff, all the fancy automations that come behind it, like birthday automations and creating all of the creating all of the email, the daily or weekly emails that they send off to their list. So, and I love it. I mean, it's really fun. I love selling different e-commerce products and also taking on different voices. So, I mean, I've had, I'm working with like this dating coach right now who has a pretty big YouTube channel, and, he's a whole lot of fun to write for. I'm selling like cat litter and selling like fitness equipment and things like that. So, yeah, then that started off like, yeah, I mean, as you just said, you know, you kind of realize that teaching isn't your thing. And that's how it was for me. I was like, ah, man, it wasn't even 9 to 5 for me. It was actually 8 to 5. And I was working in the kindergarten at the time. So I was, you know, handling like screaming kids, and I had 2 Hungarian co-teachers who probably didn't like me that much because I was just like a dumb 25-year-old. And yeah, I was like trying to figure out how to live abroad, how to stay abroad. And then I've met this German guy actually in a bar named Finn Lobson. And he told me, I was like, hey, what do you do, man? Like, what's your deal? You're 20 years old, you're younger than me, and you seem happier than me. And, you know, he was in Budapest, and he was like, I'm about to go to Vienna and then go to Vietnam or something after. I was like, how do you do that? How do you, like, what's the secret? And he's like, oh, I'm a copywriter. And I had no idea what that was. I was super curious. You know, I went home and Googled it, asked him for some resources, and just kind of, that's how I started, you know, writing copy. And yeah, I mean, I bought like this horrible, like shitty, like $200 laptop on Facebook Marketplace, which it would only charge if the charger was propped up on like a coffee mug, and like prayed to God it didn't move. But yeah, that was like the beginning. Had my first client like on Upwork, and it was like a $5 blog post. And yeah, it was super humble beginnings, because it wasn't even really $5. Once it transferred over to my bank account, it only became like $1.50 because of the fees. But yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, no, basically for free. And you obviously, that's a big method Gary Vee talks about. And that's actually, I'm remembering now, the first email that you sent me. You are reaching out to YouTubers and you said, hey, Riley, I'll write you an email sequence for free. And then I was like, oh, you know, as an entrepreneur, it makes so much. I'm like, okay, you're not going to say no to that. If it's really good, then, you know, then we'll work together. So I guess, did you find a lot of success with that method?
Yeah, well, you know, it's all about kind of getting your foot in the door. I think, you know, if there's anyone's like reading, like, you know, listening to this, and they're like, how do I even become a copywriter? You know, it's like, I would say, just try different things, different forms of copy, whether you want to, you know, be a content writer, write blogs, sales pages, advertorials, try it all. But then, you know, reach out to people who are like, who you want to work with, and just say, you know, can I just write 2 or 3 emails for you for free? You know, if you like it, you can use it. If you use it, can I have a testimonial? And use that as like some type of leverage, because at the end of the day, you know, clients, and I've been on the client side hiring different writers, designers. You know, you don't even need like a 50-page portfolio, very Mad Men style, where it's like in a binder and you're looking through like hundreds of ads or anything. Even if you just have like a handful, 3, 4, 5 samples, then, you know, if the prospect kind of vibes with you, then it works out. I don't do that nowadays. Nowadays, if I do cold email, it's pretty easy for me, since I do have like a pretty large portfolio, and, you know, I've learned to gather stats and things like that. But I think for like people who are starting out, just sending that email and just saying, hey, let me just try something with you. Yeah, it's a really good way to get your foot in the door.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, Gary Vee talks about it, guys. Do not sleep on that method. Yeah, reach out to people, offer a little bit for free. If it vibes, boom, it works. Live chat. Someone says, Riley, where are you? Oh, here we go. I'm in motherfucking Phuket, yo.
You're definitely not Bali.
I didn't show his question, but anyway, I'm in Phuket now. Yo, it's open. Get your asses down here. Thailand is open.
It's open?
So it's open. You got to show Vax card.
No, Vax card.
It's open. So I'm here. It's called Phuket Sandbox. which means your first 14 days you have to stay on the island of Phuket. No quarantine, just stay on the gigantic island. So you're in Phuket. So Phuket is open, and I'm hearing potentially on October 1st they will make a sandbox for every region in Thailand. So Bangkok, basically your first 2 weeks in Thailand, you stay in that province or region, and then you take 2 negative tests, and then you're free to travel all throughout Thailand. So that's where I'm at right now. It says random viewer on here, or at least on the restream it does.
Hello,
anyway,
random
have you
viewer.
done Asia?
Have I done Asia? I have not. So my whole thing was like, I'm just gonna try to go to as many European countries and like slowly go east. And then the pandemic kind of ruined that for like the last year. But I've done a little bit of Asia, done like Taiwan, and I'm Filipino. I'm like Filipino American, so I've been all over the Philippines. And yeah, but you know, last year was the time I was like, I'm gonna go do Asia. I'm gonna pack up all my stuff and go. And then COVID happened and decided to, you know, just kind of be a dick about things and things like that. So, but we'll slowly make it over. The plan is to do Asia in the winter, but I've been more of a European nomad and just been bouncing around. I mean, I've been to like all of the most European countries, or at least a good amount of them. At least all the ones that are like cool for people who like to work remotely, and you know, where they're like cool sites and stuff like that. But you know, I'd love to do Asia because I know it's like, you know, oh, you haven't been to Bali, can you call yourself like a remote worker? I think that's a meme somewhere. But yeah, I mean, I'm also just like a Budapest kid.
Yeah,
like
sick.
For sure.
Yeah, I haven't done Budapest, but I hear a real great hotspot for nomads. Actually, one of my agency associates in my agency, she's a full-time graphic designer with us. She's in Budapest right now, so I'm sure I'll make our way. I was actually gonna do Europe this summer. I was gonna do Croatia for 2 months again. We did it last summer. It was so sick. Let's run it back. And then we're planning on doing a road trip across Budapest. They was up to Karina, maybe go down to Kiev, Ukraine. And then at the last minute decided, Danny and Parker, they decided, Phuket is actually really sick. Let's post up here. It's actually like where I'm at right now, Rawai Beach is like an up and coming nomad hotspot with all the cafes, co-working, surf, sick gyms and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do that so bad. That sounds. I want to learn how to surf. To be honest, I was in Puerto Escondido for a while, and everybody was like, my friend described it as like a sleepy surf town, and like it is what it is. You know, everyone was like surfing, and I was like, fuck, I feel like I should. I should learn how to surf.
I'm right there with you. I'll get there someday. Random viewers hanging out with us. That's literally their name. Says, what's the attraction of Budapest?
The attraction of Budapest, I think, well, I mean, surface level, you know, it's aesthetically, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of those places, like every corner is kind of cool. It's like medieval, kind of Gothic, kind of, but then it's like a strange mixture of the new. So I think aesthetically, it's awesome. There's a ton of like really cool actual attractions. So you have the museums, you have the castles, you have the castle district, we have Fisherman's Bastion. But then, you know, that's if like you're a tourist and you're there for like 4 days. But if you're there for long term, one, it's, you know, as Riley said, it's becoming like a hotspot for digital nomads. The internet's good. There's plenty of cafes. There's like an incredible like growing number of co-working spaces. Like I think like 3 or 4 years ago, it was only like 3, and now there's like 30. And you know, it's an extremely walkable city, so you won't need to do like public transport. You can walk everywhere, but the places you can walk to are also super fun. So, you know, it's a really cheap place if you want to go party. There's a lot of that. Budapest is like the Las Vegas of Central Europe or all of Europe. Especially in the summer. You can't like walk 10 feet without bumping into a bunch of English guys getting drunk for like a bachelor party. And it's just like a really fun, vibrant city. It's kind of, it's kind of in like this, it's still growing in that sense still, but there's so much potential there. Yeah, as you see right here, there's this beautiful bridge and, bars along the river, and it's super fun. And it's extremely international as well, with a lot of businesses going over there, and with all the universities there's a lot of people who are just international workers from all over the world there.
Yep.
And it's just super fun. I think if you go there and you kind of set foot and you go to that first bar, you're like, oh man, all right, this is like a good time. And everyone that I've met who's really someone who works remotely, they're like, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And
I'm totally getting the
scene
vibes right now. And the food.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah. Random. We were asked about the food. I mean, there's also snow, as you see in that photo. It can get pretty treacherous. I think that's probably the least fun part of Hungary is like when it gets in that winter time when you're like, it's definitely not Phuket or Bali. It's more like, I don't know, like a winter hell. People still go out though, which is like really crazy. You still see people and like, and a foot of snow, a meter of snow, and they're like, just pass the Paulinka faster, it'll get warmer. And I mean, the food scene is really good. It's very like Central European, and that's like, I think typical Hungarian cuisine is meat and potatoes-esque. And I mean, kind of if you've been around Central Europe, they kind of eat a lot of the same things. There's a lot of sausage, a lot of potatoes, a lot of soups. I didn't really have soup until I moved to Hungary, which is kind of weird. Filipino, so we usually had rice, but we had like this langos, which is like this deep fried bread that's very savory, and it's great. I mean, Budapest food scene in regards to being a foodie, I think is okay. No knock on Budapest, but it's still growing. That's definitely still growing. A lot of chefs from other places are setting up shop in Budapest because it's just so easy, and well, it's not expensive to start a business there, which is why a lot of I have like several German friends, a couple guys from all over Europe they've like gotten their freelancer visa in Hungary. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. My lawyer told me I can't say that. You don't call it a freelancer visa. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a really cool place. Yeah. Riley says it's yummy. At the end of the day, it's yummy. At the end of the day, it's just yummy.
Yeah. And in any international city, you can get any type of food you want. There's like, you want American food? Just go to the American food. You want fucking Turkish? You want Hungarian food? That's weird. I actually had Hungarian food yesterday here in Phuket.
Really?
Yeah. It's fucking random.
Yeah, this is like fate then.
Yeah. It was actually on Grab. So like we have these apps nowadays. You're just fucking scrolling through and it's just like fucking Italian, Hungarian, Russian, Mexican, Peruvian. It's like, we have access to everything at our fucking fingertips. This holds every type of food inside it. I literally press buttons and it's fucking transported to me in 30 minutes.
I know, it's not fair. I feel like really you can just get it delivered to you in like 20 minutes. Anything. Like when I was in Budapest last week, I got Mexican food delivered in like 20 minutes. And it was like, the app said, it was like, Ricardo is making your order. I'm like, oh, is he Mexican too? Like, this is like crazy.
Yeah. Totally.
I don't need to be a nomad. I just need Uber Eats really to experience the world.
Yeah, exactly. You can get it all. It's crazy times we live in. Live anywhere, work anywhere, eat anything, talk to anyone at any time, like we're doing live. Anyway, this is sick. This is sick. First live podcast. We got the live chat. I'm gonna do this every time now. This is way easier, and I don't have to send it to my editor to edit it. It's like already done. It's already posted. Any other topics you wanted to get into? Questions?
No, man. I mean, really, it's really cool to be here. I mean, I really like doing this podcast live as well. one of the things I don't really have to think about it. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna let things be. But no, I mean, if you're like listening to this, check out the Nomad newsletter.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's just at thenomadnewsletter.com. I do have a book coming out tentatively mid-October about how I became a digital nomad, how I started my freelance business, how you can grow that as well. It's going to be called Nomadic and Happy. And yeah, I'm going to release that on the Nomad newsletter as well. I'm not sure if I'll put it for free. It'll be around mid-October. So still working on that. It's going to be not going to be a Harry Potter like novel. So it'll be like 300 pages. I think I told my mom that, and she was like, Mom, I'm going to have a book out. She's like, oh, it's going to be like, am I in it? It's going to be like 200 pages. And I'm like, no, Mom, it's not going to be in it. It's just going to be about me writing and like traveling. And she's like, that's boring. She's like, that's boring. I'm like, all right, sorry. I love you too, you know? Yeah, but join the Nomad newsletter. Give me some feedback, and I'm going to be featuring Riley a good amount there because, I mean, I just like looked at your Instagram like even deeper. Typically I just like kind of scroll and I'm like, oh hell yeah, I like that. But you have a lot of stuff going on, so I definitely want to feature that. And if anyone's listening to this and you do have some type of business that helps people start their online business or maintain their lifestyle, whether it's a co-working space or a yoga retreat or relocation expert or something like that, feel free to hit me up. I'd love to feature you on the Nomad newsletter, and you can help me grow it.
Yeah, sick. There it is, homies. Bromads, Nomad newsletter. It's just starting. Give him some feedback. If you want to feature something, if you want to collab, hit him up. Hustling. Awesome. You're going to come out with a book. I'd love to do that someday. Sounds good. Awesome, dude. Well, that was fun. I'll follow you. And I'll see you on the IG. You guys can see him on the IG as well. And I will see you, on the newsletter as well. Looking forward to reading it.
Much love, Riley. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. See ya.